When did you have the last meal? Breakfast or down there? So I mean 1 2 hours later we should maybe go down there and, or do you know any, I mean, you know, at the place where you have your coffee, they do have good menus, you know, like very nice ones, like a simple steak or whatever. They are not bad, I mean. Sorry? Degenerates. You will turn into monkeys.
Animals ain't matter, that's why they really matter, you know. Animals ain't matter, that's why they really matter, you know. And if you don't get this, sure you got a long way to go. Mr. Bongo's just a put on, better get a real hard on. Mr. Bongo's just a put on, better get a real hard on. And if you can't get a fucker, go ahead with your cosmic jargon. You talk of animality, your animals ain't real. No violence, no pain, or you would lose your cheap appeal. Animals ain't matter, that's why they really matter, you know. And if you don't get this, sure you got a long way to go. Don't be a flower punk, baby. Dr. Reich took you too far back. Don't be a flower punk, baby. Dr. Reich took you too far back. So do yourself a favor, shake that fake monkey off your back. You love civilization, but not its discontents. You dream of running wild and take your clothes off when you dance. Animals ain't matter, that's why they really matter, you know. And if you don't get this, sure you got a long way to go. You know Galactus is the real thing, but you can't get it right. You know Galactus is the real thing, but you can't get it right. So you've got your teenage Marxism to give you cheap thrills when you ride. Your craving for immediacy, it's just a passepartout for making a connection each time you know you should. Animals ain't matter, that's why they really matter, you know. And if you don't get this, sure you got a long way to go. So get your lesson learned and bring me back Karl Marx's brain. So get your lesson learned and bring me back Karl Marx's brain. That's what Nietzsche wouldn't teach you, 'cause Marx was never insane. John Bellamy is a wonker, his nature doesn't jive. You better read Adorno and yell that nature is a lie. So I'm ready, ready, Teddy, ready, Teddy. I'm ready, Teddy, ready, Teddy. I'm ready, ready, Teddy to rock and roll. So now I got 2 letters and even a radio broadcast from Ben Watson. I'm glad he read my article on Adorno and animals and, quote, agree with most of it, end quote. That's what he says in his first mail. Even now that he had to wait for an answer, probably assuming that my Oxford Dan persona couldn't care less about him, he seems to believe that what I can give to the world are just, quote, abstract answers, end quote. That's what he said in his second mail. The guy is such a splitter, is probably going to split himself in 2. Crying, please Marco, don't accuse me of ignoring mediations, won't help, because Ben Watson knows perfectly very well he does ignore mediations. But he's playing a trick here, because I've always talked about dialectics and not about me mediations. This is an old quarrel between us, so the fact that Ben Watson accuses me of being abstract is also not new and doesn't strike me as particularly original from him. As a matter of fact, all of his polemics can be reduced to this. He is materialistic, concrete, alive. His enemy is idealistic, abstract and academic. So I guess now it's my turn to get into his polemics machine with its usual, repetitive, predictable, boring effect. Sure, I could defend myself by stressing again on the self-confessed academic nature of the paper itself, but that would confirm his insinuation about me trying to look more articulated than a mere Marxist, which is not true. As a matter of fact, it strikes me that Ben Watson, concentrating on the fact that I named Heidegger, totally omitting that I introduced him to distinguish his metaphysics of technique from Adorno's position. I am not a Slavoj Zizek, you know, and the aim of the whole article is to show that Adorno's analysis is different, materialistic, and not metaphysical. Sure, Ben Watson believes my premise is wrong, because, according to him, Adorno does not say that technology is politically neutral. I am sorry, but it does. And it does in the fucking dialectics of enlightenment. Quote, knowledge, which is power, knows no limits, either in its enslavement of creation or in its deference to worldly masters. Just as it serves all the purposes of the bourgeoisie economy, both in factories and the battlefield, it is at the disposal of entrepreneurs regardless of their origins. Kings control technology no more directly than do merchants. It is as democratic as the economic system with which it evolved. End quote. Ben Watson believes that the dialectic of enlightenment is all about capitalism. Well, it isn't. Adorno and Horkheimer were also interested in the entire history of class societies. They wanted to know where enlightenment went wrong and which place does capitalism occupy in the history of domination. Adorno was trying to unveil the mechanism at the heart of class society, domination upon nature, in order to reveal its effect both in the state and Western capitalism. At the same time, he didn't want to open the path for reactionary, anti-technological stances like Spengler or Heidegger. Therefore, to say that technology is politically neutral means that there is hope that we are not destined to fail because of our biological constitution or because of some oblivion of the being. We can and must change the property relations, and we can and must change our manipulatory attitude towards inner and outer nature to see the end of class and nature oppression.
Please, oh please, don't name Heidegger. Please, oh please, or I won't get her. She's a comrade, you know, and a magic that I show. It's the name, oh names that she longs for. Oh please, don't name Jacques Lacan. Please, oh I won't be her man. She's a comrade and she's mine, and all is going fine till I name all the names that she loves. It's so easy to dismiss every problem with the kids. We're just crazy, we're too lazy to have some doubt. She never read the books, but she knows that they're corrupt. And I know it's true, 'cause I can't read too. Please, oh please, don't name this a suit. Please, oh I love my allure. She's a comrade and she's hot, so for her I just forgot all the names that she don't want to hear anymore. So please, oh please, don't name Derrida. Please, oh please, that's like oh bloody blada. I'm a comrade and I'm hard, that's a Parisian retard. And I got all the names that I love. It's so easy to dismiss every problem with the kids. We're just crazy, we're too lazy to have some doubt. She never read their books, but she knows they all corrupt. And I know it's true, 'cause I can't read too. So please, oh please,
I must admit that one of the reasons I appreciated poodle play in the beginning was its polemical attitude. I myself believed that being an adornist meant you have to be polemic against something, which I still believe is true when polemic is directed against class society and nature oppression, not against names, and well, not even against people. This is Marx, you know. Quote, to prevent possible misunderstanding a word, I paint the capitalist and the landlord in no sense couleur de rose, but here individuals are dealt with only insofar as they are the personification of economic categories, embodiments of particular class relations and class interests. My standpoint, from which the evolution of the economic formation of society is viewed as a process of natural history, can less than any other make the individual responsible for relations whose creature he socially remains, however much he may subjectively raise himself above them. End quote. This is capital. Now I hope, shitheads, you won't attack Marx for being a Stalinist himself. I remember that I was really idiosyncratic with names. When reading text, I was always looking for the right or wrong names. Does it quote Heidegger? It's a shit. Does it praise Stravinsky? The author is an idiot. The list of good and bad names was the list of those who were attacked by Adorno or Lenin or Marx. Since they attacked them, then they had to be wrong. I must admit, I had to force myself not to dismiss even Ben Watson's poodle play because it coupled Zappa with Stravinsky. And to be fair, I still believe Mr. Watson was wrong in doing so. I don't think that Zappa shares anything with Stravinsky, if not irregular time signatures, a parallel which is superficial when one considers the true content of his composing attitude. Mahler would have fitted better in a comparison between Marx and classical music as much as orchestral composing is concerned. But I got beyond that objection, because I realized Watson was trying to save Zappa's rhythmic obsession from Adorno's fully correct critique of the rise of spring. Still, I believe he missed the point there. Ben Watson had to put down Adorno, attacking him for being a snob, oh dear, to make his argument work. Because it was probably blocked by the same fixation I share. If Adorno says that Stravinsky sucks, how can I use Stravinsky? Adorno must be wrong. No, Mr. Watson, Adorno was fully right there. Rise of Spring's rhythmic assault on the listener is entirely fascist. And yes, we can use Stravinsky with a good conscience if we think we have to. Because it's not a question of sacred names which are taboo, it's a question of class relations that have to be discovered under certain aspects of culture. And to be sure, these relations are not fully mirrored by people. Say Schoenberg is proletarian, Stravinsky is bourgeois. Rather, they are incorporated in their works. And these works form a sort of field of forces where you can spot the contradiction of social realities. Aha, here I go, you're making the naughty boy. This is so true that Adorno himself, once the urge of polemics on modern music was becoming old, like modern music itself, could be more indulgent on Stravinsky. In Quasi una Fantasia, where he also replied to critics explaining how his 1947 polemics was to be intended. Quote, Offenbar gehört es zu den größten Schwierigkeiten, auf welche die philosophische Interpretation von Musik stößt, dass ihre Befunde dem objektiven Gehalt der Sache gelten und nicht dem subjektiven Geist des Autors der erörternden Werke. End quote. Again, this is Marx's emphasis on objective and not subjective critique. It took me years to get rid of that infantile obsession with names and people and look more concretely at how class society makes its way through their works. Sometimes it is important to stress an opposition between cultural trends. It was surely important when Adorno did it in 1947, because neoclassicism had to be destroyed as intellectual and cultural fashion. But such divide has not to do immediately with class struggle and nature oppression. These are rather to be discovered at work in all aspects of cultural phenomena. At the time when Adorno wrote his vehement polemic, Schoenberg let class struggle and natural oppression emerge in his works, while Stravinsky tried to mask them. But class struggle and natural oppression were also at work inside Schoenberg's oeuvre and exploded in formal and material contradictions as well. That's what makes his music living and speaking to us still today, while endemic neoclassicism is fucking boring. The easiest way to prevent us from understanding social contradiction in culture is to reduce an author to a cliché rather than going through his work. His name becomes taboo, and you become blind to what happens in the things he writes. But what the materialist should do is to stack on things rather than names. Why should philosophy or anthropology be different? In fact, they are not. Let us take Husserl. I always hated him. I've always found him so boring and futile, I couldn't get read through it. I thank Adorno for writing the Metacritic that I encouraged me to read, thus dispensing me to read Husserl. Adorno did the job. He destroyed Husserl, so what the fuck? Well, I was wrong. Eventually, I understood I had to assume Husserl's point of view if I wanted to understand what he was writing. He was an idealist, no shit, but what a strange kind of idealist. He didn't want to admit it was, and so his purchased writing suddenly appeared to me as a desperate attempt to come to terms with such contradiction. It was an inner struggle where I could find a distant echo of social tensions, and that looked more intriguing to me. Then I reread Adorno's book on Husserl, and there you go, I finally realized Adorno was not demolishing Husserl. He was exposing Husserl's contradiction as an objective process, just like Marx did with Adam Smith and Ricardo. Mind you, not any bourgeois thinker is worth going through to expose the contradiction between social reality and thought. There are lots of ideologies that only deserve our contempt. Marx called this Vulgar economy, and relegates it to his ferocious footnotes. But then, this is too no general rule to be accepted as such. Much depends on how important such idiots might be in the cultural environment. What about Dühring, for instance? Engels spends a lot of time to reject his argument, and I love his funny polemics and all, you know, but well, nowadays it all looks like shooting an ant with a bazooka. Husserl was relevant to Adorno, otherwise he didn't take care of attacking him. More interestingly, Adorno was also using Husserl against Heidegger, because at the time he was fighting his war against the ontological fashion in Germany. Again, a very determined polemic, not a general crusade against name. The same goes with Kant. A lot of Marxists never get a chance to read Kant because, you know, it is the whole part that Lenin definitely demolished. Dualism is wrong, monism right, 2 legs is wrong, 4 legs is right. So who gives a shit about Kant? Now why did Adorno teach courses on Kant? Wonderful courses, which are not only helpful to understand the relation between philosophy and society, but were also an important part of his own writing. I think there's more true in Kant's dualism than in vulgar materialism.
Went to the party, there was no party, just a bunch of people tried to act like Lenin. They read my paper.
paper. They told me later, we don't agree, cause you don't write like Lenin. You ain't no Marxist, they tell me still, cause you make use of your own free will. So I went to a conference, made some inference. They stared at me like if I was Lenin. They read my paper, they told me later, we can't agree, cause you write like Lenin. You're just a Marxist, they tell me still, cause I make use of my own free will. I went to Frankfurt to show my effort. A lot of people trying to look like Teddy. They read my paper, they told me later, we don't agree, cause you ain't said like Teddy. You still a Marxist, you ain't serious enough. You want revolution, even get some love. So I wrote a friend, thought he could understand. He knows my point of view, ain't academic. He read my paper, he told me later, he doesn't agree, cause I'm too academic. You don't like Marx, you ain't serious enough. You don't want revolution when things get tough. So I got a late punch from out to lunch. I told him animals and about morals. He read my paper, he told me later, I don't agree, cause you're all about morals. You put down angles, you ain't one of us. I only want politics, you're just making fuss. I'm on the blacklist of animal activists. I told them animals are all about politics. They read my paper, they told me later, we don't agree, cause you're all about politics. You put down singer, you ain't one of us. We only want morals, you're just making fuss. Well, you know what, I'm tired and sick of people whose thought just shoots too quick. I'm always too simple or too complicated, or writing about things they always hated. But I want truth, you need labels. Give me reality and enjoy your fables.
Animals experience pain, certainly, but despair.
Despair of the animals.